I grew up under three main influences. It was, first of all, family. And this is where you learn this is good, this is right. Then the other influence was school. In school, you were practicing everything that you learned at home. And the third one was church. In church, everything, all your morals and your ethics, everything that was taught at home was reinforced. That was the way until TV opened our eyes. All of a sudden, TV was becoming an influence, something that came to our home. Ontologically, you become something or someone because all of these interactions. And all of a sudden we have this influence of technology little by little. So the three axes that I was talking about, family, school, and church, changed. The first one now is the internet, the network. Then the second one is family, but usually family gets triggered when you're in trouble. And the other one is sex, which is also fed by all the media that we see. And all of these images come loaded with information because it's not just the scene, it's the way that you see your body, the way that dignity is portrayed. We need to really understand that algorithms, networks, all these technologies changing even the way we are.
Welcome to the Ordered Life Podcast.
I have some notes on the idea of relational ontology. I've never heard of that until I was reading a thing. I thought that was really interesting, that the thing is defined by the circumstances and the relationships around it.
Yeah, in philosophy circles, I mean, for people that are listening and don't speak fluent philosophy, well, ontology basically studies the being, what we are, right? And being, in my view, it's a very dynamic process. We get a ton of influences from different, different places. Again, toying a little bit with history or how things used to be. Think about my generation. I grew up under three main influences. It was, first of all, family. And this is where you learn this is good, this is right, and this is what a family looks like. This is the role of a father, this is the role of mom, and so on. All your morals and your ethics are built there. And then the other influence was the school. In school, you were practicing everything that you learned at home. Right? This is where you got your social interactions and helping you become. And the third one was church. In church, everything, all your morals and your ethics, it doesn't matter what the denomination or what is the religion you practice, is everything that was taught at home was reinforced at church and was put in practice in school. So, in school, I am seeing it as a broad approach to sports and arts and many things. That was the way until TV opened our eyes. All of a sudden, TV was becoming an influence, something that came to our home. One thing that my generation used to have was accountability. If I think about this, if I wanted to communicate with anyone, let's say that I was yesterday in the club and I met the girl. And first of all, I had to have good memory if she was willing to share her phone number. So,
and you had to remember the phone number.
Exactly. The next day is, otherwise the girl of your dreams is gone forever. Then you have to have, and I'm talking about virtues, you have to have courage to go to the phone in my house was in the middle of the living room, and and mom was like, "Who are you calling?" "Oh, there's a girl that I met." And now everyone at home knows that there's a girl.
You have an audience.
Oh man, and you are going to be bullied. And then you call the girl, and probably mom or dad are going to leave the phone, and you have to confront them and say, "This is me who met your girl yesterday, and I would like to talk to her."
Oh, on the receiving end.
Yeah,
The father
yeah.
on the other end, yes.
It's scary as hell. And but that was the way that we were forged.
Yes.
Ontologically, you see, you become something or someone because all of these interactions. And all of a sudden, we have this influence of technology little by little. This TV was probably the first big shift. And until we came to this generation. So the three axes that I was talking about, family, school, and church, changed. The first one now is the internet, the network. So it's our first influence. If anything is happening to me, especially things that are delicate, like, let's say, sexuality. Where is that people learn about sexuality today? The web, right? Drugs, the web. I'm curious, especially teenagers. I don't know. I want to try marijuana, but I'm scared. I go to some influencer. Oh no, marijuana is safe and da da da. And they don't. I don't know who is that I am trusting. It's probably the guy who sells marijuana or whatever. But it's the first influence. Then the second one is family. But usually family gets triggered when you're in trouble. You are not going to go with mom or dad and say, I have been thinking about trying marijuana. I know a few people that will do it because they have a very tight relationship. But
you're usually looking, in your example, is the public opinion, that taking precedence over the morals and values that the family would ideally present.
Yeah. And the other one is sex. Is like hormones are a fact of nature, and these drive curiosity, which is also fed by all the media that we see now. If you're watching a Netflix movie under 15 rating, it's probable that you are going to get a nude.
Yeah, and the standards for those were way different back in my time, the 80s, in which certain scenes would be obscene versus at present day. Yeah.
And all of these images come loaded with information because it's not just the scene, it's the way that you see your body, the way that dignity is portrayed, the way that compromise between the people who are acting is portrayed. It's a bomb. So when you are out, you want to practice those. Now, on the other hand, you know that mom and dad have a certain approach to this. So I wouldn't ask them how to protect myself or how. I will go to an influencer. And it gets even scarier. Right? Imagine that you have an unwanted pregnancy. Where do you go? Is before you go to mom and dad. Now, you are getting close to the threshold where mom and dad have to be triggered. But before, I will see if there's a solution, a magical solution to get out of the problem. And I might end up doing a very, very defining thing for the rest of my life. It's the problem with influencers, and I go back again to this economy of media, is that they don't care about the advice that they are giving. They care about having followers because that makes them a lot of money. So think about what are the two of the most prevalent things that you see to get attention from people that are really into social media. If you're a girl, it's usually showing a little bit more of your body, because you know that is going to get like a myriad of likes. And if you're a boy, you are going to do some stupid stunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
That reminds me of like where Jackass was
Yeah.
pre-internet
Yeah.
of the stupid things
Yeah.
and the popularity. Well, I guess we'll bring up WWF or WWE. It's that
pointing at me?
popular.
But the more you there, the more likes you have, right? And that sends a message. So all of these network of connections end up defining the way that you see yourself, the way that you want to become, your basic and core wants and values is what is beauty, what is success, how is that how is that I see myself accomplishing this, and ontologically, it shapes you. It defines the way that you become someone. So I promised to my wife not to put this example, but think about ontologically the whole transformation of Donald Trump. The guy has been defining himself under a logic of pure greed. And he is honest about that. At least I give you that. I give him that. He is very clear. I don't know. He wants the golden statue, and everyone praising him. And it's just the way that all of these networks of information and the way that he absorbed them and the way that he understood them, that ended up, making him become what he is.
Well, it's interesting as well, as we relate that idea to social media and how much of media in general, be it Netflix, social media, whatever, the algorithms are meant to see what you want or to show you what you want to see. How much of the self is no longer determined by other people's aspirations for you, say like who your family hopes for you to be, because the primary purpose of the family is to help to raise good young people of upstanding character. Or the school, like that you're not going to try and live up to the expectations and the standards that are set out by a given school, and especially with the church, right? That you're not going to live up to the standards and expectations that God has for you. But instead, if you're looking at social media, you're almost trapped in one version of yourself that you're like, oh, like I like Ferraris and I like girls who look like that.
And
you,
then the algorithm kind of pushes you into the corner.
pins you into that definition of, oh yeah, you can be more and more like this static version of yourself that sees a very materialistic worldview that keeps you trapped within yourself and never makes you or entices you to go beyond yourself.
Yeah, because you're just reaffirming what you want of yourself.
Exactly. And you're being reaffirmed by those primary pieces of your environment, because you're to your point, that those three things have changed from family, school, and church to pretty much now just things that you have control over.
Just you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you're just
don't,
consulting yourself.
Yeah, and same thing with respect for legacy, right? Like people today have much less respect for things that have come before them, be it like the institution of family, be it like schools that have been there for a long period of time. They don't respect the school for the values of the school, but they respect the school for the value that it gives themselves. And same thing with the church. It's like, well, what is the church to me if I don't have influence over it, or if it's going to make me do something uncomfortable? Whereas nowadays we have all these things we have control over, and if we control what determines us, then in essence we're making ourselves God.
We think that we control, but think about
Yes, and that's a scary thing.
Yeah. Because complexities are down there working their thing. If we don't get back again to basics, we need to support young generations to understand the benefits and the core values of a family, of having kids, we need to fight all this shaping of that media does. This is part of the project that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do in, a very small way, but those books are meant to do that.
Yeah.
Are meant to have these philosophical conversations with philosophers from the past to make people think.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Well, I feel justified for raising my children in a bubble then.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions before concluding?
Oh, I have one more thought at the risk of
Yeah.
do it. Push the conversation another hour. No, well, it's just okay. So it's not really a question. It's really just a thought of in the book where you juxtapose climate change with these complex systems, and I thought that the parallel really to me was so when it comes to climate change, like Earth has been fully covered in ice and had no ice cap. So it's not the fact that climate's changing, like that's normal, but it's the speed with which it's changing that's different, where things aren't able to adapt. And I thought to how our society is evolving and the complexities and the speed with which they are changing is so much faster than it has been before. Like we're, only now come to terms with the effect of social media on kids 10 years after the fact, and that's evolving to something else, and it'll be 4 or 5 steps ahead before we figure out whatever the next thing is. So yeah, I know, it's just that observation, the thought of that we can't adapt. We can't even figure out our system because it's changing so fast.
Yeah, and think about the natural mechanisms. They have a rhythm, and if you push nature to a tipping point, nature is going to. I'm fine. It's just going to change faster, and in that change, there might be obliteration of everything. Okay, you are accelerating all of these processes. So then the whole evolutionary rhythm that we have been experiencing it's interrupted, and is not going to be stopped. It's just going to change in a natural way. Is that we don't really know or can predict because of all of these complexities.
And you made another point too, where you say, we're really wired to understand scale at a village level, and now we're expected to understand it at a global level. So we can't even fathom, not even how things are changing, the speed with which they're changing, but the ways in which they're changing.
Oh yeah, think about the climate change and think about the moral climate change. How is it changing, and how fast we came from all of these ideas of the critical theory to exaggerations of inclusivity. And by exaggerations, I am talking about, I don't know if you have heard about inclusive math. There's some people that defend, and these are scholars. These hurts. These are scholars that say that there might be a chance that 2 plus 2 isn't 4. That might be, let's say, 22. I am associating the number, so
It is to my 5-year-old, actually.
Yeah.
He did quiz me on that 2 days ago. What's 3 plus 3? 33.
And we have to respect that according to them, because it's the point of view of this individual. And I said, like, man, would you jump into an airplane that was calculated under inclusive math? I mean, I don't. We are pushing to the limits of relativism, which is not leading us anywhere. I think there's a trend that is beginning to be more and more evident, where people are saying, wait a minute, yeah, what are the limits of inclusivity? What is that I can accept? And what is, I mean, frankly, I mean, out of the natural rhythm. So you can see more and more and more. But this is happening in record times. It just goes like bang, bang, bang. And we have no time to react. And that is danger, because it's, I mean, if we don't react, we have no control.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting as well. You made the point about how the more we solve these problems in the area of technology and business, the more we start to think and be influenced by that technology and way of thinking in business. And so much of thinking in business is maximize shareholder profit. And I mean, the simple one there is, or the simple moral connotation there is, if you always do what's best for yourself and everyone does what's best for themselves, then everyone's going to somehow end up in the best position possible, which I don't know whoever said that, but that is what's commonly taught in terms of how competition works as well. If you have everyone vying for their own self-interest, then market prices will eventually equalize at whatever their intrinsic value is. But similarly, in your most recent example, why am I drawing a blank on what this is? The nice thing about podcasts
The EpiPen?
No, not the EpiPen.
You know what I thought about the EpiPen example? Was that's long-term value destructive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Right? What do you do when you raise prices? You invite competition.
Yeah.
Right?
But let me tell you what happened with EpiPen, and this is where morals really get in. So this and this is the false idea of power by imposition. Right? So you have a monopoly. You are raising the prices, and of course, there's some people saying, "Man, this is good. Let's get a little bit of the cake," and competition begins to arise. What is that Meridian does? They go to the schools, which is a primary source for their market, and they give away EpiPens. I believe it was about 1 million of EpiPens in the U.S. And that seems very noble and nice, but they made them sign a contract where they were not able to buy anything from the competition in 24 months.
Wow.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
And they can do it because they have all of this money, right? So it's but the big question is, where is the regulation? I mean, regulators are also in the same mechanics, is because the more this company grows, the more taxes I'm going to be getting.
Yeah. Now I remember the point that I was going to tie off that on. So when businesses are all, let's do what's best for ourselves, that's not a question of good business practice. It's actually a question of ethics. And so I think what we're seeing on a global stage right now, as you accurately point out, is this confliction of, well, what happens when different people's morals are different? Do we somehow apply the same idea that we have with business ethics of, everyone doing their own thing is going to lead to what's best? Because by definition, if my morals are one way and your morals are another way, and we can't change that, and that's going to actively bring us into conflict, then you do have to have either one morals, which is more totalitarian, saying, nope, this is what's right, and we have to decimate anything else that opposes it because we don't think you're capable of change, because you kind of project onto the person. If I'm operating into my best interest and you're going to be doing that, and I'm more strong than you, so I'm going to eradicate you, and that's totalitarianism. Or you have the complete opposite, which is, well, everybody is their own thing. We can't say anybody. So yeah, you get examples of inclusive math. And yeah, who am I to say that you're wrong and there is no truth, because you can't have truth, which is, a very scary cultural war to have to start waging, as that idea of business and do whatever is in my best interest and that will lead to the best good for everyone goes into morality of, oh, just everyone can do their own thing, because you do end up playing with those two extremes, I think.
I mean, yeah, it's morals are complex, and this is my approach. I mean, my philosophical approach. There are many different philosophers with many ways to attack this. For example, for Nietzsche, it's just a logic of imposition. So he says the guy who has the power is
Yeah.
going to impose his ways.
Yeah.
So when the king, or in the times of kings and royalty or whatever, to be humble was not good. It was, I mean, basically against a virtuous circle. But since he called it the revolt of the slaves begin to grow until they get enough power to overthrow the oppression. And so now to be humble, it's seen as a virtue.
Yeah.
So for him, it's an imposition after an imposition. Now, again, I'm super oversimplifying it. My approach is that now we're missing we're missing the biggest part of morals. I do believe that at its core, morals are embedded into what we are as human beings. Some people might argue that we developed society helping each other because we needed to survive. My argument goes the other way. Probably we began to help each other because there is something in human nature at its core that rewards helping someone. Is when you do a good deed, your whole chemistry in your body changes. You feel good. Just even for small things. When you ask for directions, or somebody asks for directions, and you give them, you take the time to tell, you turn to this or that, you feel an odd satisfaction. If you help someone in extreme situations where you save their life, the satisfaction is even greater. The funny thing is that we have a mechanism that we call memory that stores that information. So whenever we recall that good deed, we feel the satisfaction again. On the other hand, when we do something that is wrong, we develop regrets. And we fight with regrets all the time. In fact, regrets shorten the way to happiness. The more regrets you have, the less happy you are going to be, because you need to forgive yourself before moving on. So think about the way that we understand power nowadays. Power, we understand it as imposition, and might not be an imposition. Might be something that is way more natural, but also very difficult to exercise. My example is Mother Teresa. I mean, think about this woman, a tiny woman from India who decides that her market, to put it in business terms, are going to be the less fortunate of the less fortunate. People who are dying in filth in the streets of Calcutta. And she decides to go and help them without asking anything in return. Her aim is to give them, the dignity of a human being when they are going to die, basically. So by cleaning them, by feeding them, by just, probably saying goodbye in the best humanly possible way. I usually ask my students, was this woman powerful? And if you think that she was powerful, explain me how. Because that is an easy market to reach, right?
Yeah.
It's there are lots of people in misery. Just by helping them, I'm going to be powerful. Well, The answer is yes. She was very, very powerful. I remember she's full. I love Mother Teresa's life because she's full of stories that, wild stories at some point. Is she was with her secretary, and all of a sudden they had an overpopulation of kids because the parents were dead and now they were taking care of the kids and they had not enough space for these kids, so it was a crisis. So Mother Teresa came with a very reasonable proposal. Let's do an orphanage. And the sister is like, well, yeah, mother, but is we need money. Yeah, just don't get me, little problems. So she began to plan the orphanage and this and that and these many rooms and these things and education. And I can see probably the eyes of her secretary rolling, like, where is that all of this money is going to come from? And then she, when someone asked her, like, well, you're talking about millions of US dollars. How is that we are going to get them? She said, like, well, I have a friend in the US. This girl that I just met, she was so kind and so nice. And so she her secretary, call this woman the Hillary Clinton lady. She was very nice. So as I tell my classes, if I call Hillary Clinton, will she lift the phone? Like, who's this guy? I might not even get through the first door. But Mother Teresa called her, got the call and got the money. That is a lot of power. What is the source? The source is moral.
Yeah.
We trust we trust the exchange, the fair exchange. What is more fair than someone that doesn't ask for anything in return? Jesus was crucified because of this.
Yeah.
He was helping people. He was not asking for anything in return. And because he was getting a lot of power, powerful people began to shake, right? So, philosophically, this opens a big line of debate. What is the source of power? Yeah, it can be imposition. Yeah, just as Nietzsche is right in a certain from a certain approach that you can impose moral values, but you cannot destroy the core of moral values. It's just another big one is freedom. What is to be free? These are basic concepts that define human nature and human dignity, and we cannot explain them today because we're so confused. Today, freedom is just doing whatever I want, right? So this is what I mean to going back to basics. I truly believe that the business that is fair with their employees, that is fair with their markets, has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And long-term viability is because people will trust. So, but in order to do that, we have to walk away from the cultural trend of immediacy now and maximizing profits. How profitable it is for a company to think about an IT company. I come from that market, so I understand it really well. How can you measure the return of paying your employees, let's say 10% above the market, which is a lot of money?
Yeah.
So basically cutting 10% of your profits. Under the logic of maximizing your profits, you might say, like, that's a very stupid idea. But at the logic of long term, I will tell you, Anthony, I am going to have the less rotation in the industry that you can, that you can imagine. Is
Yeah.
people are going to stay here.
Yeah. There's a financial planner downtown who I know quite well. And one of his philosophies with paying his employees, and I actually don't think that he's actually had an employee leave on his team, but he always says, I pay them what they're worth 2 years from now. And like based with this idea that they grow into that person a lot sooner than they would have if they were on a regular pay scale, or they don't move away, and his retention rates are through the roof. And that team culture is just so much better because he's paying them above industry standards and for
Yeah.
who they're becoming, not who they are.
And they are not going to steal. They are not going, if the company gets into trouble at some point, because that is the nature of a business, ups and downs and crises, people are going to be there to
Yeah.
help you out of the crisis. They will understand because there's trust. And the problem nowadays the conflict within organizational culture today is that, I want to go and ask for a raise, but I know that it is going to be a fight because we see it in a negative way. It's a no-go if you want to keep your employment and things like that. And on the other side it's uncomfortable. Oh man, here he comes again to ask for more money, and so we are in that under that tension all the time. And then you see, companies with poor employees but rich shareholders, which that imbalance from an Aristotelic point of view talks about vices and moral degradation, right?
Yeah.
But it's very difficult to do it because the almighty money. Oh man, we understand it. It's just pretty much we grew up under that culture. Is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You don't toy with money. No. So yeah, is I this is what I mean by going back to basics. We need to understand that we are in this life for a very short time, and what is, how can we design a flourishing life? There's a book that is, the book is a little bit boring because it's a collection of stories. It doesn't have like a whole narrative or a story behind, but it's the story of the longest study of happiness.
Done at Harvard. Yeah.
Yeah. And the book, I believe, is called The Good Life. And so the whole book tells you different stories about people who were, very rich people who lived miserable lives, and very average people that lived basically happy and flourishing lives. So it's and according to one of the conclusions of the book and the whole study is that what makes a flourishing life are meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
So it's not only meaningful relationships socially, but you have to have a meaningful relationship with yourself first and foremost. Then, social. If you are good with yourself, you can have a good relationship with others. You have to have a meaningful relationship with your work, with your family, and meaningful relationships doesn't mean to be like a Disney story where everything flows like smoothly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are going to be bickering against each other and fighting and fixing things and then fighting again because that is fun. Right?
Yeah.
That is what we do. But in in times of trouble, of pain, the lines close, and you are going to have the support of that network that you build with time. While money usually takes you away from that network. We also need a meaningful relationship with money.
Yeah.
Because if it gets disorganized, then we end up being very greedy. So, yeah, it's I think it's interesting. The conclusions of these study are very eye opening and very difficult to put in practice if we don't slow down and reflect.
Yeah. And can't take the time to think.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to go back to these. It's very sad that I don't believe that in the school curriculums now that are, basically the government curriculums. I don't see philosophy anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. As much as we praise the ability to critical think, we don't have classic thought in there at all. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we should recover that. We should go back also to basic ethical questions, and we need to have a meaningful relationship with the greatest fear of all, that is dying.
Yeah.
And the only door through that is religion.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a good relationship with the boss, well, yeah, you're toast. Right? I think that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
But I can see if you don't have that relationship, well founded, it's easy to fall for this economy of power, money, and all of this craziness.
Yeah. 'Cause it's easy. It's tangible. It's right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that's. I think that was the answer to the ontological. The ontological direction that networks are really pushing. They are. We need to really understand that algorithms, networks, all these technologies changing even the way we are.
Yeah. They turn us back in on ourselves when we need to learn about the world through the world.
There are people that are, philosophers that are beginning to make philosophy of transhumanism, which is a very scary thought. But you see, transhumanism under control, and again, here comes the illusion of control. Yeah, we can put chips into our heads, and we are going to be able to control nature.
Yeah.
We don't know what is that nature is going to answer to that, right? But that is the game.
Yeah. Any other closing remarks?
I think I'm good.
You're good? All right. Well, Dr. Islas, thank you very much for coming on to the Ordered Life podcast. We're very appreciative of your time.
And thank you guys for inviting me. It's always fun to come and talk about things that really matter in my view. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This podcast has been prepared by Sean Gregory, who is a portfolio manager, AJ Sanson, and Anthony De Lazari, who are associate investment advisors for IA Private Wealth Inc. Opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the portfolio manager and investment advisors only, and do not necessarily reflect those of IA Private Wealth Inc. IA Private Wealth Inc. is a member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund and the Canadian Investment Regulatory Organization. IA Private Wealth is a trademark and business name under which IA Private Wealth Inc. operates.